Hi there, welcome back to another episode of Jungu Josh, and this episode is about panic in London. Jungu Josh is about the 13-year-old Josh McGreer who lives in London but now finds himself in the jungles of Africa. He's got a lot of challenges ahead of him, but with the help of some friends, he will fend off evil forces and also find answers about his missing mother. This is all entailed in the 3 adventure series books that I've written called Jungu Josh, and you can find out more about the books and the interactive world of Kalambula, where everything occurs, on jungujosh.com. Today we're venturing a bit away from Jungu Josh and more towards my other passion, music. Now, some of you might know that I have a music project called Pelican State. If you haven't heard a Pelican State song yet, you can go and have a listen on Spotify and Apple and all these other platforms. But you can also go to jungujosh.com because the theme song is sung by Pelican State, by myself. I wrote the song and we recorded it at Richard Bressou's studio in Vredefort, and that was also a cool experience. So I love making music. I love to merge it with all my other creative projects. And I want to tell you a story today which formed me as a musician. Now, just some background. I see myself as a somewhat creative person, but I also think that I'm inclined to write more than I do music. Although I love the music process, I never really felt good enough to be a musician. Now let's wind back before I want to tell you this story which formed me as a musician. Where did it all start for me with the music? As with most people, it started in school choirs. I stayed fit. But then something terrible happened. When I turned 11, or it might have been 12, my voice broke. And so for 3 years, I didn't have the confidence to sing. And it took a Christmas play in the church, and it took the playwright and the music conductor to force me to sing in one of these scenes, a central scene of the lost or the prodigal son arriving back home. And that song gave me the confidence to sing again because people weren't stoning me. They actually said it was quite good. So after school, at university, I took part in Serenade, a cappella singing. You can think of Pitch Perfect, those movies. And then I had a couple of bands I played in. And then, when none of those bands worked out, I formed Pelican State, which was at that stage a solo music project. And because none of the previous music projects really worked out, my confidence was again at a low. And now it was 2019, just before COVID. I went to London to write the final chapters of Book 2, The Warrior of Abu Monja of Jungu Josh. Because Josh was from Lewisham in London, I wanted to see the place where he grew up and get some context. And what happened is I had saved enough money to also visit Scotland during that trip. But then the weather took a turn for the worst. It was snowing, it was very windy, and it was dark, so I decided against going to Scotland. And then something caught my eye on the internet. There was a world-renowned producer in London who would, for the exact same amount of money, produce a song for me. And I saw it as a sign. Contacted him, and he said, "You're in luck. I'm actually fully booked for the next couple of weeks, but I've just had a cancellation." Talking about divine intervention. The next day, I was so enthusiastic. I couldn't wait. Got to the studio, met the producer. We sat down, we talked about the song, and then he said the words that gave me a shiver down my spine. "The floor is yours, Constant." And I was like, "Excuse me?" I had made a major mistake. I thought I booked him as a producer, but I actually booked him as an engineer, which meant I had to produce the song. He was just there to support me. I had to tell him how the song should sound like, but I had to play all the instruments. He would just put everything together. Now, for those of you who don't know, I can write songs and I can sing a bit, and I can play basic guitar. But that's where it stops. And now what was expected of me was to play all these different instruments, put it together, and let him, do his stuff as an engineer on the program. I was terrified. And I wanted to cancel. But the fact is, I was there. So I asked for any guidance from him that was possible, and he just looked at me wide-eyed, saying nothing. I was on my own. And what followed was a miracle. Because somehow, some way, the song came together. The song's name is Walk Away, but don't take my word for it. Go and have a listen to hear whether you think it's a miracle that everything worked out. The link is down below. And it took this very terrifying, haunting situation. I can't reiterate enough how anxious I was in those couple of hours trying to record this song. But it took this situation to make me realize that maybe I belong here. Maybe I am good enough to do music. And it's not a coincidence that most of my songs were produced after 2019, because that was the confidence boost that I needed. So what I'm saying is, there might be things that you don't want to try in life, and where you think your talents don't lie, and that's fine. But it's always good for the rest of the things to take the risk and see where it leads. Now, this is a very good exercise for me, because it formed the Jungu Josh world as well, because music influences Kalambula greatly. So yes, the theme song, but when you read the books, you'll see there are many songs that I've written in various languages, Uchubian and Maganian, where the tribes sing along, and I wouldn't have been able to do that if I didn't give music a chance. So I elaborate on this story in the podcast, the Jungu Josh podcast, which is available on jungujosh.com. We are now at episode 13, I believe. Go and have a listen. It would be fun to have you there as well. So I'm going to end off with a song, a new one that I've written. Thanks again for joining me on this journey. It's great to have you here. Till next time.
I felt summertime, business on my mind, and the rivals company while I wait. Doors slide open wide, passengers arrive, looking for identities in the crowd. Meet new faces, meet acquainted eyes long to walk, and look the street, look the music.